everybody, Looker2756 here from the RC Dungeon. Wanted to thank a few people who are going to actually be involved in this and have actually brought this video to you. Gabe from BGI Hobbies, he's the East Coast distributor for LC Racing. We're going to do an unboxing and a review of this 1/14th scale EMB-T 1/14th Brushless Truggy. This thing is pretty awesome. We're going to pull this thing out of the box, so I want to thank a few people right off the bat. I want to thank Jeff from Owens Machine and Welding for the awesome cutout aluminum, the RC Dungeon sign behind me. These guys can do just about anything with metal that you need done. So also want to thank Competition X, Eat Sleep RC. We're all about growing radio control. We also want to thank the Radio Controlled Network, which is the network that I'm involved in, helping me with my YouTube channel. So let's get this thing out of the box and see what we got in here. Right off the bat, of course, we got some stickers for the body. Got to make the body look cool. Got a parts breakdown, which it's an RC vehicle, so you can about bet at some point in time this thing's going to break, so you want to be able to see exactly what part that you're going to be needing. Got a brochure from LC Racing here. Shows several of the different 1/14th scale models that they have available. They also have other models available too, so check with them. 1/14th Brushless Truggy. Thing's pretty cool, I gotta say. Looks pretty awesome right out of the box. So, see what else we got in here. This is a ready to run kit, so we got pretty much everything. Looks like we got a nickel metal hydride 6-cell battery. Looks like there's a small tool kit here for all the fasteners on it. Got a bind plug so you can bind to the radio. Got a charger here, just a wall charger. I'm sure this thing takes a little bit longer than most of us would want to take, but this thing will do great for anybody who's just getting into the hobby. It'll bring that battery back up to snuff so you can go play. Most of us will change this stuff out to like a Dean's plug and use a different style charger, but it works great for somebody that's a beginner that's in the hobby. Looks like we got a 2.4 gigahertz radio. Pretty much industry standard kind of stuff going on now. 2.4 is a big deal. You don't have the interference frequency wise that you used to have, where you used to be able to only run so many vehicles on the FM frequencies before you would have somebody take control of somebody else's vehicle. This thing, once it's locked in, it's your vehicle, and you've got control over it. No antennas to break off. A lot handier than the old stuff. So pretty nice little addition. Check this thing out. Clear body right off the bat. Really important for a guy like me who likes to paint his own bodies. These things do come available in pre-painted bodies as well. I'm a clear body kind of guy because I like to make mine look the way that I want it to look. Plus, if you're out running, usually when you have the pre-painted bodies, there's only so many paint schemes available, so it seems like somebody gets stuck with the same paint scheme, so you're yanking stickers off or putting stickers on to make yours look a little bit different so you can identify which one's yours that you're running out there, so you don't think that one of the other guys is you. Like the clear body myself. Inside here, looks like we've got pretty much everything that you would see in a normal scaled down 1/8 scale vehicle, scaled down to 14th scale. This thing does have all aluminum shocks, different colored anodizing, looks really cool. Looks like you got a metal chassis. Really nice steering servo, feels really good. Most of the time with these RTRs, you know, some of this radio gear is not really good, and sometimes it ends up getting replaced pretty quickly, but this actually feels really nice. It's really good and tight, not a lot of slack in the steering or anything like that, and it feels really good. Got a metal steering link, 4500 kV brushless electric motor, little micro receiver going on here. Looks like a little small ESC 35 amp. Pretty darn nice. This thing's got aluminum shock towers right out of the box, metal hinge pin braces front and rear, and this thing looks pretty darn cool. Feels really good too. I mean, I can't wait to give this thing a run because it feels pretty awesome. So we're going to take a look at this, and then we're going to do some comparison with this and the other 14th scale stuff that's on the market that would actually be in the same class. So stay tuned. We'll be right back with some more. Hey, welcome back everybody. Check this out. What I got here is the competition for this vehicle. This is the LOSI 1/14th scale Mini 8T, which is basically the same thing that's going to be on the racetrack with this particular vehicle right here. You can tell they look quite similar. I mean, Very similar, actually. So if you sit these things side by side, and they look almost identical. So let's hit a few of the differences that we actually have going on here between these two. Sitting them side by side, you can see they look pretty much the same, and there are not a lot of differences in them that you can see. From what I can see there's about maybe 1/4 of an inch distance longer for the LOSI, which doesn't really mean anything necessarily, other than it's just a little bit bigger. Track width wise, oops, I knocked the radio off. You can see that there's about 3/4 of an inch difference in track width on this. Not that makes any difference either, because it's like we've seen this before with other RC vehicles. It's like 1/14 scale to one guy is not 1/14 scale to somebody else. We've seen it in 10th scale and everything else over the years, so not a big deal. But definitely wanted to bring some of these differences out and show you what the differences is. The LOSI has a 4 body pin mounting. LC Racing has 2 in the front, 1 in the rear. No big deal there, just a difference. You can tell the bodies are a little bit different size. The LC Racing's a little bit smaller. Of course, the truck's a little bit smaller. You see about the same thing as you do with the overall dimensions. A little bit shorter, a little bit narrower. Definitely different in size. Fits right inside that LOSI body. But I like the clear body. LOSI's got these painted bodies that look really cool. I mean, they've got some decent schemes on them. But, you know, if you want to make it your own, you're going to have to go buy you a clear body so you can paint it, make it your own. It does come with a 2.4 gigahertz radio, the LOSI does, so, and the same thing with the LC Racing, so there's really not a lot of differences there. They have this AVC technology, which I tried a drift box years ago. Wasn't something for me. I didn't really like the way that it felt. This AVC is some pretty new technology, and we don't even know if it's going to be allowed in racing or not. So, just something that they have that is kind of their own little gimmick. But anyway, let's get back to what we got going on here differences-wise in the vehicles. Other than the width and the length, just a little bit of difference, laid out almost identical. I mean, all aluminum shocks for both of them. I do like the anodized colors for the LC Racing. I think it looks a little bit cooler myself. Other than that, laid out pretty similar. The LC Racing's got the battery on one side, and basically the servo, the motor, and then the receiver on one side. ESC is mounted up high. You could actually move it down in here, I'm sure. With the LOSI, you got the motor, ESC, and servo on one side, receiver and battery on the other. Not that that really matters, because it's like, it is what it is, but it's like, it's all about the way that it's laid out in the chassis. Pretty much the same. Got adjustable turnbuckles front and rear on both models. Aluminum towers, both the same. Metal drive line for both of them. I would say that that's pretty comparable, each one of them. So let's go with a few of the differences. The differences that I see right out of the box are the front and rear hinge pin braces on the LOSI. These things are plastic. On the LC Racing, these things are actually metal. So that's a pretty big difference. I mean, usually when you go to an upgraded part, you go with a metal part. Just that's considered to be a hop-up part. So that's a difference. I do see that this thing has a metal steering link on the LC Racing, where on the LOSI, it is a plastic. And we've already had guys that's already upgraded both of these parts, the hinge pin braces and the steering links, here locally, and they've went with the aluminum hop-up parts, which, you know, if you're going to do that, it's going to cost you a little bit additional to go on the LOSI, which, out of the box, this LOSI is like $279, where the LC Racing, you're looking at $230. So, considerable price difference right out of the box. Plus, you're talking about some upgrades that this truck already has that this one doesn't, that, you know, definitely adds to the value of the LC Racing EMB-T. So let's take one look deeper, which is the one thing that I think is probably the most important about this entire review, and it's the one thing that we've seen specifically here local. The motor, which is a 4500 kV as well in the LOSI, this thing is a little dinky thing. It's like a 1/18 scale motor. Not that it's not okay for certain cars, but a car that is this size, it doesn't work real well. We had 2 guys that showed up to the local run that we had, and these guys burn up motors in literally less than 10 minutes. Most of them was like 5 minutes. Here's one of the motors that they actually burn up. It's a Dynamite Fuse 4500. It's really too small. This LC Racing 4500 is more like a 10th scale size motor. And it will definitely handle the weight and the size of this vehicle. If you take a look here, And there's a huge difference in the size of these motors. And it's pretty obvious that there's a difference there. This is a huge advantage, I think, to the LC Racing, because when you start looking and you start considering, to upgrade this in this buggy, I mean, it's a minimum if you get just the motor, you're probably talking $40-50 right out of the box. So you're taking this car well over the $300 price mark. So, when you go from $279 and add $40-50 to that, plus you got this one that's already got all these stuff. It's got the better motor, it's got the better hinge pin braces, better steering length, and it's like $230. It's like that's a huge advantage. So we want to take these things out, put them through their paces, and see what we can actually do. I'm going to do a video on painting this body, and I want to show you what this thing's going to do on a 2-cell LiPo and a 3-cell LiPo, because that nickel metal hydride battery just ain't going to cut it for most people. I mean, we want more power, we want more speed than that, and we're going to make these things go. So we've got several guys local that have these things. We're going to compare and be able to show you exactly what the differences are. Several of them are upgraded, and we've got a couple guys, one guy in particular that's got one that is like killer upgraded, and it's going to be crazy fast. So he also has some other fast small scale vehicles. So I hope you stay tuned. Hope you learned something from this video, and this is the information that if I was watching a video that I would want to see what the differences between one vehicle versus the other are. So once again, I want to thank the people that's brought you this video: Competition X, Eat Sleep RC, the Radio Controlled Network, LC Racing. I want to thank Gabe from BGI Hobbies, and I want to thank Jeff and CJ from Owens Machine and Welding. So I hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned. Subscribe if you liked it. And keep in touch. Thank you.